On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline.
Yep. And here's what, so if you think about how people use the virtual sphere, they're not just out there to buy, they're out there to find out more about you. Let's say you met this great network client and they're like, I want to find out more about them, but I don't want to make that appointment yet. They're going to Google you. Can they find you? Did they go to your website? Did they find your social media? So even if you're not actually selling a product or you're selling an online course, you still need people to find you, to find out more about you. 90% of sales happen after your ideal client has done research. And if they can't find anything on you on your research, they're not going to buy from you. So yeah, so online courses, people who aren't in the retail world, you still need. The exception is like if you're on Etsy or Shopify or you use Amazon, those aren't, you're not going to probably find as much need to have this on your website.
Okay. I have questions, many questions. My first one is, I'm curious, did you happen to go and Google us?
I did not.
You know, I love the honesty. I love the honesty.
I am so honest, you guys. It's terrible.
But that's hilarious.
I think I did Google you when I initially came across, because I found an application for you guys in the speakers circle on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I Googled you then, and I did find some basic things right away, but I didn't find a lot.
Okay. No worries. No. Okay. I'm glad I asked. Thank you for being honest. So, okay. So imagining that our first step is to be found online, what's going to be the first step? What is the first step that System to Thrive podcast or anybody should be taking so that they can get seen on Google and preferably not on page 6?
Right. You need a Google My Business profile. First step.
Okay. So how is that helping? How is Google My Business? What is it doing?
So think of Google My Business as your keyword inventory. It is your card catalog of all the important words that are related to your ideal client. So in your description, you're going to talk about what you do and who you help. But the key that comes down to is your services. And depending on what type of business will depend if you have products and services or just products. I have services and products on my Google My Business page. So products for me are my masterclasses in Google Analytics. They are my one-on-one sessions that I do for Google Analytics and Google My Business. They're my one-time services of, hey, guess what? I will set up your Google My Business page for you and make it advanced, and you don't have to worry about it. So those are my products. My services are not only marketing. I do search engine optimization. I do business coaching. So those are my services. And the key with those services is you're going to give a description. And the description describes what you do for your ideal client. And it should be in your ideal client's language. So you do podcasts and you specifically look to help people, really thrive in their business. So what are the keywords people listening to your podcast are going to be looking for when they're searching for a podcast like yours? And you want that in your description on your Google My Business page. So it's just really all you're doing is you're giving Google a database on your company of what you do. And that the more keywords you put in there based on your ideal client, the better the connection of an organic user or someone who doesn't know you exist will find your website.
So how does that show up from like an end user experience? If I'm Googling, business podcast, that whatever, right? There are the keywords we put in. Clearly, I've thought about this. And what do I see? Do I see like the little map? Because that's local businesses, right? Electricians near me or whatever. So how does that help me?
So I get found both ways. And what's great is when you create that profile is you're expanding how people are going to find you. So from an end user perspective, they're gonna Google business podcast. And what you want to happen is you want your podcast to pop up first. So if you're the first thing and you've got a Google My Business profile, to the right of the screen is all the information from Google My Business for the client to see. So it does have a map, depending on if you gave them your address. So for service people like me who do mostly virtual work, you don't need to put your address in there. So it'll still pop up with a map, but it'll just say in the city you're located. It's going to pop up your website links, which is what you want, right? You want people to click your website. And if they click it from Google My Business, excellent. That pops up on your Google Analytics, even better. If they keep scrolling down to look at your profile, they're actually going to see a list of your products and services, as well as any photos you've uploaded. So they're going to get a full picture of who you are on a search results screen.
I have follow-up questions. So while you were talking, I went and Googled you. Amy Graves, AMG, innovative.
Yep.
And what came up, the first thing was LinkedIn, followed by your about page on your website. I don't see any Google My Business stuff. I'm not seeing the sidebar, anything along those lines with that information. Where is it?
Interesting. It should be, was I the #1 find?
Yes. So yeah.
Interesting. Ooh. So I changed my business URL like this week.
Right. Yes.
So Google is in the process of re-verifying my company. So it's very possible that because of a website change, they're not recommending my business profile at the moment.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to give us a second.
We need the second.
Because you literally just hit record and I was like,
what talk?
Oh my God, this is going to take forever. We literally haven't even gotten to the introduction of this.